Hi, my name is Roland and welcome to the VectrexRoli show. Thanks for joining me again, and in this video we will have a look at the flash card for the Sony PlayStation 1. Most of you will already have an idea what to expect from such a device. You can put games and programs files on such a card and launch those from there. The PlayStation 1 was one of the early gaming systems using a cd-rom drive instead of ROM game cartridges, and now with an additional device you can also load games from a SD card. This device is called PSIO or PSIO or however you want to pronounce it. It comes from Australia and you can buy it from the web store of the makers of that card. I did wait several months to get mine, but finally it did show up. Please don't expect any tutorials here how to set everything up. If you want to know all the details including costs and how to install it, or if you have any question, just go to the PSIO webpage and I will put the link to that in the description text below. There you can also download the system manual describing all the details and also installation guides for all the different PlayStation 1 versions, so go and check that out if you're interested in more details. Most of my subscribers will be already familiar with the concept of flash and multi-cards, and you can find many of those on my channel here, even for more obscure retro gaming systems like the Nintendo Pokémon Mini or Virtual Boy for example. I also have an older video on my channel showing a SSD hard disk connected to my PlayStation 2, and I always wanted to have something similar also for my PlayStation 1 now. It is just so convenient to select games from a list and not wasting any time looking for the original discs, and also the cd-rom drive of the old PlayStation usually stops working after some years. In my PlayStation 1 there is already a replacement laser unit from China built in, and those more modern replacements can be a bit problematic sometimes. Some don't really work properly out of the box. The PSIO does come in a nice looking package. You also get a tiny switchboard PCB with some wire you need to solder in and some quick start guide. It has a connector for the parallel port of the PlayStation, there is a slot for SD cards, and there is a yellow LED showing drive access, but usually you don't really see that blinking as it is placed on the side of the PSIO. You can also directly connect your PSIO to a PC via USB to load disk images from there. The SD card you have to get separately. I was going for one of the faster 128GB SanDisk models. I don't think that the SD card speed plays an important role on the PlayStation as such, but copying tons of game images over from my PC to the SD card will take a while, so that was the main reason why I paid a bit more for a slightly faster card. As a first step we need to find a proper PlayStation 1 model that works with the PSIO compared to cards for other systems like the Nintendo Game Boy or DS for example, where you just plug it in and you're ready to go. It is not that simple with the PSIO. Unfortunately, it does not work with later PS1 models, those nice looking smaller PlayStation models with the optional Sony screen, so you cannot plug in your PSIO there. Or maybe you could using complicated hacks or something, but I don't know anything about that. What we really need is an old classic PlayStation 1 model that still has the parallel port built in at the back. Not all models had that, it was removed on later models, so make sure you have a working parallel port PlayStation 1 before ordering the PSIO. Of course, the cd-rom laser unit doesn't have to be fully functional anymore, you don't really need it in most cases. My PlayStation 1 came a long time ago from some seller from eBay. I replaced the laser unit with a new one from China a long time ago. The console already had a mod chip built in to play also homebrew games and games from other regions, and those mod chips usually do work together with the PSIO, so you can leave them in your PlayStation. The PSIO as such does not have any mod chip functionality built in. As far as understood, it would be possible from a technical perspective, but I guess they didn't implement it for legal reasons. I don't know, maybe there is some simple secret hack or something you could do, but I could not find anything about that, and I did not really care much as I had a modded PS1 anyway. The most complicated part is that you need to solder the necessary switchboard in. There are several instructions available on the PSIO webpage for the different PlayStation 1 models. Really glad that I got it working. You know, it is not rocket science, but it is not super easy either in my opinion. This should not be your first soldering project, and proper equipment does really help. You need to cut traces with a sharp knife and stuff like that, so take your time and study the instructions and all the photos on the webpage carefully. When you're done, you start your PlayStation without the PSIO plugged in to test the switchboard first. Everything should work as before. You should be able to launch games from cd-rom, and you also should be able to still hear audio tracks from CDs. When you plug in the PSIO with a SD card that includes the menu system, you will see the menu screen and you will be guided through the firmware update process then, and of course you need to download all necessary files from the web first. You put all your favorite games onto the SD card. There are certain limitations and things to consider. Always check out the latest version of the system manual. This here is not a tutorial video, and certain capabilities and specifications of the PSIO might change also in the near future. Today, end of 2018, I had to create directories for each game and put in the game data there. You need to use disk images with one file for the whole disk, including audio tracks if there are any. In my case, I'm using bin files for CD images. You also need so-called CU2 sheet files for disk with audio tracks, and if you want, you can also add an optional low-resolution preview picture for the cover art in one specific format, and you can download those pictures from the web and convert them. If a game consists of several disks, you need to create a file called multidisk.lst in which you list all the disks included. Collecting and setting up all those game files is an extremely time-consuming process. Many of the CD images floating around the web have to be converted and modified first to get them working, and of course you also can rip your own original PS1 CD-ROMs. Not all games do work, unfortunately. I always had a few titles that did not boot up from the SD card. You still can also put a CD-ROM in your drive and start the game from there using the PSIO menu. So after all the work and preparation, you can finally enjoy your games on your good old parallel port PlayStation 1 model. You select the game from the list. If you want to play another game, just press the reset button on your console. The games are not loading faster or much faster than from CD-ROM, but at least you can avoid all those annoying loading issues you always see when using scratch disks or old laser units. If you are one of my younger viewers, you might ask now, what is the point using something like the PSIO, as it is so much easier to use just emulation? You know, a flash card like that is a product for retro gaming enthusiasts that want to use the real thing, and it is not only about the games, it is about the whole user experience for me. There were some very cool add-ons available for the PlayStation 1, like light guns, analog dual flight sticks, or the Pocket Station memory card, to name only a few, and it is much easier to connect those to real classic PlayStation hardware. Really like the Pocket Station memory card here that was launched in Japan in 1998. Certain Japanese PlayStation titles used some features of the Pocket Station, including transferring simple minigames which you could play then on the go on your Pocket Station. But there is also homebrew software available for copying over a collection of minigames. The PSIO menu does not work with all types of controllers as far as I know. I've seen in the manual it does not work with the mouse, also didn't try the different driving game controllers yet, but at least it works with the light gun. Really love light gun games. I still have one of those heavy Sony Trinitron CRT monitors for that, and when using the RGB output the games look like they were meant to be, and the classic light gun works great. The PSIO menu software detects the light gun and you can select the games from the list using your gun. The Point Blank series is one of the best of all light gun games for any home console in my opinion. Point Blank 1 was one of those games I could not get working with the PSIO. Don't know if it's just not compatible or something was wrong with my disk image, but Point Blank 2 and 3 look better and more polished anyway, and they fortunately do work. There is no time now to tell you more about light guns, but I will link to one of my older videos about classic PlayStation light guns, so go and check that out if you want to know more. One of my favorite game controllers also works with the PSIO, at least in some form. This is the SCP-H1110 analog twin stick controller. Some people call it also flight stick. You can use it both in analog and also in standard digital mode, and you need to use that digital mode for the menu first. After selecting the game you can then switch over to analog mode, and there are a few titles supporting this controller, which definitely make those games much more fun to play. Really love that huge twin stick thing. Some people complain that it moves around on the table when playing with it, and that's just because they don't know that Sony also put some suction cups into the box with the controller, and of course those are missing in most cases when buying a used one. It was not possible for me to use subdirectories on the PSIO. It would have been great to collect all analog stick games or all light gun games within separate subfolders, but it seems that it is not supported by the menu system software, so I use dedicated names in my menu list indicating this is now a light gun game or a twin stick game. So there you have it, the PSIO for the Sony PlayStation 1. What do I think about it? Well, I personally like it a lot, and there is not really much competition available. The solution is not 100% perfect and therefore not for everyone, and I'm not talking about the compatibility issues for some of the games. It is more that it works only on special console versions. You need to solder in the switchboard first, and things can go wrong there, and you might need to invest a lot of time to prepare your game files to run with the PSIO. You can send your PlayStation PCB also to Australia and they put the switchboard in for you, so they offer that as a service, but you know, sending parts of my PlayStation around the whole globe from Europe to Australia and then hoping it would ever come back still alive did not really make me feel comfortable. In the manual they are saying that the SD card could get hot as the SD card frame acts also as a heatsink and you should not use it in a hot room. If it is quite cold in my basement, my SD card got warm, so still thinking why they did not solve that cooling issue in some other way. Let's see what other people from the community will recommend over time. Maybe it is not a big deal at all, or maybe one day I will modify my PSIO. Still, overall, I'm quite happy with my PSIO. It is a product for retro gaming nerds like me, and I would buy it again. The guys behind that solution seem to maintain their software. There are many nice features in the menu options to play with, like faster boot up or background music in the menu and so on. With the PSIO you also can give new life to an old parallel port PlayStation 1 model with a broken laser unit, and also it is very convenient to switch on your old PlayStation 1 and just select the game from the SD card. I also like that you still can boot also from a cd-rom without removing the PSIO. If you still enjoy classic original PlayStation 1 titles, the PSIO could be an interesting solution for you. Not all PS1 games did age well, but I personally like, for example, the arcade game conversions like Tempest or Robotron, where they took great 1980s arcade games and improved them with late 1990s technology. So I hope this was interesting, entertaining and helpful for you. You know, making videos is a lot of work and very time consuming, and as this is a non-commercial hobby activity, this is a free service for you. So please consider subscribing to my channel to show your support. You will find tons of interesting stuff here you have not seen on million other YouTube channels before. Please like, share and feel free to leave a comment, and as always, thanks for watching.